Israel spent years hacking Tehran's traffic cameras and penetrating mobile phone networks to monitor the movements of Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and his security detail ahead of his assassination. And the report also cites multiple current and former Israeli intelligence officials and other people familiar with the operation. So this is as per those people. Nearly all traffic cameras in Tehran had been hacked for years, with footage encrypted and transmitted to servers in Tel Aviv and southern Israel. And this is how they carried out the strikes, the operation in which the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was killed.
Well, these are details emerging at this point in time, the manner in which Israel spent years hacking Tehran's traffic cameras and also looking into mobile phone networks to monitor the movements of the late Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and his security detail ahead of his assassination, is what the Financial Times has reported, citing multiple current and former Israeli intelligence officials and other people familiar with the operation. Remember, this conflict has been an ongoing one for decades together at a stretch. Now, nearly all traffic cameras in Tehran had been hacked for years. This is what Israel did, essentially with the motive of tracking the movements of the supreme leader who's now been killed. The footage was encrypted and transmitted to servers in Tel Aviv and southern Israel, with the intelligence network monitoring every movement of the supreme leader, is what we are learning at this point in time. This is how the operation was also eventually carried out, with this kind of movement that was being done. Encrypted feed was streamed directly to Tel Aviv, directly to Israel, for them to have a data, in fact, a gold mine of data which helped them track the movements of the supreme leader that Israel and America eventually went on to take out.
So that is how Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran, was killed, how the strike was carried out by US and Israel, and how they killed the supreme leader. The traffic signals were hacked and traffic cameras, and they also, Israel penetrated into mobile phone networks, and they were monitoring the movements of Iran's supreme leader in order to carry out the strikes and in order to kill him.
Of course, this in addition to the information that we already have on how the CIA also had tracked him for months before the deadly strike. So how was the supreme leader Khamenei killed? Israel struck Khamenei's residential complex. Remember, they had been monitoring him for years together. The CIA too had been looking at his movements for months together, eventually before carrying out this attack. Israel then went on to coordinate the attack with the United States, is what are the details emerging at this point in time. Israeli jets then eventually went on to drop 30 bombs at the compound of the complex where Khamenei was there. Strikes when a high-level meeting was underway. The idea was to inflict maximum damage and ensure that the top brass of the leadership would be wiped out, and that, of course, was an aim that was achieved by Israel and the US. A joint meeting was actually taking place of senior political and military leaders, which was underway. The idea, like I mentioned, was to wipe out this leadership. Of course, intelligence inputs determined the location of the late supreme leader, who was then taken out. Opportunity was, of course, unique: strike in broad daylight and inflict the maximum damage, and that is what was achieved.